If you're watching this, chances are you're asking yourself a pretty big question. Is the Vitamix Ascent X4 really worth the nearly $900? Or am I just getting sucked into another overhyped kitchen system I'll regret later? And honestly, that's a smart question, because while Vitamix is known for power and durability, not every model fits every kitchen or every cook. And when you add in a 12-cup food processor, multiple slicing discs, and a smart blending system that's supposed to replace 3 different appliances, things can get complicated fast. So in this video, I'm going to help you cut through all that. We'll walk through exactly what the Ascent X4 does, how it works in real daily cooking, where it makes life easier, and where it might surprise you in ways you didn't expect, good and bad. Let's start with what it's built to do. This system blends smoothies, hot soups, frozen desserts, dips, and cocktails, all with pre-programmed settings. It also chops, slices, shreds, and juliennes vegetables with multiple precision discs. Everything runs from one powerful motor base, and yes, most parts are dishwasher safe. But don't skip ahead just yet. There's a real usability issue with the food processor attachment that several buyers weren't expecting, especially if you do a lot of small batch prep. I'll explain what that is later in the video, so you can decide if it's a deal breaker before you spend your money. If you're just looking for specs or pricing, the link's in the description and pinned comment. But before you head there, let's take a close look at how this thing is actually built. Because with an appliance at this price point, construction and design matter a lot more than marketing claims. Right out of the box, it looks premium. The polar white finish has a clean, modern look that fits well in most kitchens. Not flashy, but sharp. The motor base is solid, weighing over 11 pounds, which helps keep everything stable during use, even when blending frozen ingredients at high speed. The containers, especially the 48-ounce blender jar, are made from thick, BPA-Free Triton plastic. It doesn't feel flimsy like cheaper brands, and the soft grip handle adds control when pouring. The food processor bowl is big, 12 cups, which is great for larger batches, but might feel like overkill if you only prep small amounts. That ties into what I mentioned earlier. Some users found that the food processor doesn't always stay securely locked in during light prep, especially with smaller portions. It can shift slightly on the base, which triggers an auto stop for safety. Not a deal breaker, but definitely something to be aware of if you cook solo or in smaller quantities. That said, the attention to detail is impressive. The tamper holder clips onto either side of the base. The digital interface is smooth and simple. No confusing knobs or buttons. And because it uses Vitamix's self-detect technology, the base automatically recognizes which container is attached and adjusts the program accordingly. Design-wise, it's sleek, sturdy, and smart, but also big. If counter space is tight, make sure you've got the room to store both the blender and processor components. Now that we've covered how it's built, let's get into what really matters: how it performs in real cooking situations. Blending, slicing, soups, nut butters, and more. Now that we've seen how the Vitamix Ascent X4 is built, let's talk about how it actually performs. Because all the smart features and sleek design don't mean much if the day-to-day results fall short. Starting with the blender, it's powerful, 1500 watts, and you feel it. The preset programs cover smoothies, hot soups, frozen desserts, dips and spreads, and frozen cocktails. For daily use, that means you can go from tossing in ingredients to sipping a creamy smoothie in under a minute, without needing to stop and stir every few seconds. And yes, it really can make hot soup, not from heating elements, but from blade friction. In about 6 minutes, it turns raw ingredients into steaming soup, ready to serve. That's a serious time saver for busy weekdays. The tamper tool, which some people find intimidating, actually works great in thicker blends like nut butter or hummus. The self-detect system even lights up a tamper icon when it's needed, which takes the guesswork out of it. Now, for the food processor attachment, it's solid for shredding, slicing, and julienne cuts. The extra blade discs open up a lot of possibilities. Think hash browns, veggie sticks, or coleslaw in seconds. But here's the thing, the processor only runs at one speed. If you're used to more control, especially for fine chopping or soft ingredients, that might feel limiting. Also, as I mentioned before, some users reported the bowl shifting slightly during use, which causes it to pause until repositioned. Not ideal mid-recipe. In day-to-day cooking, this system does save time, especially if you batch prep or cook from scratch often. But it's not magic. it still takes a little learning curve to make the most of all its features. So, performance-wise, the Vitamix Ascent X4 brings a lot to the table. But what about after the cooking is done, when it's time to clean up, store everything, and get ready for the next meal? Here's where this system has a few clear wins, and a few things to keep in mind. First, the blender container and the food processor parts are dishwasher safe. That's a relief if you hate hand washing. But even better, the blender has a self-cleaning cycle. You just add warm water and a drop of dish soap, run the cycle, and rinse. Done in about 35 seconds. For most people, that alone is a daily game changer. Now, for usability, the digital control panel is clean and intuitive. The 5 preset programs are clearly labeled, and the countdown timer removes the guesswork. That's especially helpful when you're multitasking in the kitchen and need to set it and forget it. The food processor attachment, while powerful, is a bit less smooth. The lid and bowl can be tricky to snap into place. It's snug, which is good for safety, but it takes a bit of getting used to. And remember, if the bowl shifts even slightly during use, the system pauses automatically. That's a great safety feature, but it can feel frustrating when you're in a rush. Storage-wise, Vitamix did a smart thing by including a disc case for all the slicing and shredding attachments. That keeps your drawers organized and blades protected. Still, with this many parts, you'll need a bit of cabinet space to store it all properly. In daily use, it's user-friendly, once you get used to how each component fits. But this isn't a plug-and-play machine. If you want to get the most out of it, you'll need to spend some time learning its rhythm. So, is the Vitamix Ascent X4 Gourmet Smart Prep Kitchen System worth it? If you're someone who cooks regularly, likes to prep fresh ingredients, and wants to simplify your kitchen setup without sacrificing performance, this system makes a strong case. It's not just a blender, and it's not just a food processor. It's a true multitasker designed to save time, reduce clutter, and handle just about anything you throw at it. The build quality is excellent. The blender performs beautifully with everything from ice to nut butters. The food processor is fast, sharp, and capable, though not without its quirks. That single-speed function and the occasional shifting bowl might bother some users, especially if you prep small batches or like more control when slicing delicate ingredients. But overall, this isn't just another gadget. It's a system, and it works best when you treat it that way. If you're willing to learn how to use each feature to its full potential, it can replace multiple appliances and genuinely improve your cooking flow. Still not sure? I get it. That's why I always recommend reading real user reviews and comparing what matters most to you. And if after watching this, you think the Ascent X4 fits your style, I've left the link with more info in the description and pinned comment. If this video helped clarify your decision, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe for more honest kitchen reviews, and drop a comment with your biggest frustration when it comes to kitchen appliances. I'd love to hear it. Until next time, keep cooking smart, not hard.